Have you ever noticed how a single comment can ruin your entire day? Someone says something negative, ignores your message, or treats you differently than expected, and suddenly your mind starts replaying it over and over again. Hours pass, yet you are still thinking about that one moment. Most people do this without realizing it. They give strangers, friends, coworkers, and even people they barely know the power to control their emotions. The Stoics believe this is one of the biggest reasons people lose their peace. They taught that true strength is not controlling other people, it is controlling yourself. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that other people's opinions are outside his control, but his response is always his responsibility. Think about it. If someone praises you, you feel happy. If someone criticizes you, you feel upset. If they reply quickly, you feel valued. If they stay silent, you feel anxious. Your emotions rise and fall based on what other people do. This means you have handed over the keys to your peace. The Stoics warned against living this way because your happiness becomes dependent on things you cannot control. Real freedom begins when you stop letting outside events decide how you feel inside. You start understanding that not every opinion deserves your attention and not every criticism deserves your energy. The truth is that much of our suffering comes from the stories we create in our own minds. Someone doesn't respond to a message, and we immediately assume they are angry or disappointed. A person looks serious, and we convince ourselves they dislike us. Most of the time, these fears exist only in our imagination. Seneca said that we often suffer more from imagination than from reality. How many times have you worried about something that never happened? How many nights have been wasted thinking about problems that existed only in your mind? The Stoics encouraged people to separate facts from assumptions. The fact might be that someone has not replied yet. Everything else is a story your mind created. When you learn to recognize this difference, you begin taking back control. You stop reacting to every thought that enters your head. You stop believing every fear. Instead, you pause, observe, and ask yourself whether what you are thinking is actually true. This simple habit creates clarity. It removes unnecessary stress and helps you focus on reality instead of imagination. As you practice this mindset, something powerful begins to happen. You stop chasing approval from everyone around you. Many people spend years trying to make others like them. They change their behavior, hide their opinions, and constantly seek validation. But no matter how hard you try, you can never control what everyone thinks about you. The Stoics understood this. They knew that peace comes from living according to your values, not from winning everyone's approval. When you stop needing constant validation, you become calmer, stronger, and more confident. You can still care about people, but you no longer depend on their approval to feel worthy. Your confidence comes from your actions, your character, and your principles. That is why Stoicism teaches that freedom begins inside. The moment you stop caring about things you cannot control, you create space for something much greater: peace of mind, emotional strength, and a life guided by purpose instead of fear. This is the first step toward becoming truly unshakable. Once you begin understanding that your peace should not depend on other people, another challenge appears. The desire for approval does not disappear overnight. It hides in small moments throughout the day. You post something online and check who liked it. You share an idea and wait for praise. You make a decision and immediately wonder what others think about it. Most people live this way without realizing how much power they give away. The Stoics taught that every time you depend on someone else's approval to feel good about yourself, you place your happiness in their hands. This creates a dangerous cycle because your mood rises and falls based on things you cannot control. One compliment makes you feel confident. One criticism makes you doubt yourself. One rejection makes you question your worth. The problem is not that approval feels good. The problem begins when you need it. Need creates dependence, and dependence creates weakness. True confidence is built when you learn to stand firmly on your own values rather than constantly seeking reassurance from others. Marcus Aurelius faced criticism throughout his life. As the ruler of an empire, people judged his decisions every day. Some praised him, others attacked him. Yet he reminded himself that he could not control their opinions. He could only control his actions. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you adopted the same mindset. Instead of asking, "Do people approve of me?" you begin asking, "Am I acting according to my values?" Instead of worrying about what others think, you focus on becoming the kind of person you respect. This shift changes everything. Your energy stops flowing outward toward validation and starts flowing inward toward growth. You become less concerned with appearances and more concerned with character. You stop performing for the crowd and start living according to your principles. This does not mean becoming arrogant or ignoring feedback. It means understanding that your worth is not determined by applause, attention, or acceptance. Your worth comes from how you live, how you act, and who you choose to be when nobody is watching. As this habit grows, you begin experiencing a kind of freedom that many people never discover. You no longer feel desperate for recognition. You stop chasing approval in every conversation and interaction. Relationships become healthier because you are no longer trying to force people to like you. You become more authentic because you are not constantly adjusting yourself to meet expectations. The Stoics believe that inner peace comes when your happiness is rooted in something stable rather than something temporary. Approval is temporary. Praise is temporary. Popularity is temporary. But character, integrity, and self-respect can remain with you for a lifetime. When you stop caring so much about being accepted by everyone, something surprising happens. People often respect you more because you carry yourself with confidence and calmness. Yet even that respect is no longer your goal. Your goal becomes living well, thinking clearly, and remaining true to yourself regardless of what others think. That is the quiet power of letting go. It is not about caring less about people. It is about caring more about your own inner peace than about the endless opinions of the world around you. As you continue this journey, you begin to discover something that most people overlook: the power of silence. In today's world, everyone feels the need to react immediately. Someone criticizes them, and they defend themselves. Someone disagrees, and they argue. Someone provokes them, and they respond with anger. But the Stoics understood that not every situation deserves a reaction. In fact, some of the strongest people are the ones who know when to remain silent. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he could not control what others said or did, but he could always control his response. That simple idea contains enormous power. The moment you stop reacting automatically, you take back control of your mind. Instead of being pushed around by emotions, you become the one guiding them. You begin to realize that anger, frustration, and offense only have power over you when you allow them to. A calm mind sees clearly, while an emotional mind often creates problems that do not need to exist. Think about how many conflicts grow because people react too quickly. A careless comment becomes a heated argument. A misunderstanding becomes a broken relationship. A moment of frustration turns into hours of regret. Most of these situations could have been avoided with a pause. The Stoics believe that between an event and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. When someone insults you, you can react immediately and give them control over your emotions. Or you can pause, observe, and choose your response carefully. That pause changes everything. It allows wisdom to enter before emotion takes over. It allows reason to guide your actions instead of impulse. This does not mean becoming passive or weak. It means becoming strong enough to remain calm when others lose control. Anyone can react. Few people can remain composed under pressure. That ability is what separates emotional maturity from emotional dependence. The more you practice silence and self-control, the more peaceful your life becomes. You stop feeling the need to win every argument. You stop wasting energy defending yourself to people who have already made up their minds. You stop allowing every criticism to disturb your inner world. Instead, you observe, learn, and move forward. The opinions of others begin to lose their power over you because your sense of worth no longer depends on their approval. This is the kind of strength the Stoics admired. Not loud strength, but quiet strength. The strength to stay calm when others are angry. The strength to remain focused when others are distracted. The strength to protect your peace when the world tries to pull you into chaos. Over time, this practice transforms your character. You become less reactive, more thoughtful, and more confident. You learn that true power is not controlling other people. True power is controlling yourself. And once you master that, very little in the outside world can shake you. There comes a point where you realize that no one is coming to take control of your life for you. No one can think your thoughts, make your choices, or build your future. Yet many people spend years waiting. They wait for motivation before taking action. They wait for confidence before trying something new. They wait for the perfect opportunity before making a move. The Stoics saw this as one of the greatest traps of the human mind. They understood that life is shaped by action, not waiting. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what is within our control and act on it immediately. The truth is that confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes because of action. Every time you take a step forward despite fear, you become stronger. Every time you do what needs to be done instead of what feels comfortable, you build discipline. And discipline is far more valuable than motivation because motivation comes and goes, while discipline remains when feelings disappear. Many people spend their lives trapped in overthinking. They analyze every possibility, imagine every risk, and worry about every outcome. But while they are thinking, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Time disappears. Potential remains unused. The Stoics believe that action is the cure for unnecessary fear. When you move forward, even in small steps, uncertainty begins to lose its power. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What can I learn?" You stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities to grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he was made for action, not hesitation. He understood that life rewards those who engage with it directly. The same principle applies today. Every meaningful achievement begins with a decision to act before you feel completely ready. Waiting for perfect conditions often means waiting forever. Growth happens when you move despite uncertainty, not when uncertainty disappears. As you begin acting with purpose, your entire perspective starts to change. You stop living as a passenger and start becoming the driver of your own life. Your focus shifts from what others are doing to what you can do. Your energy shifts from worrying to creating. Your attention shifts from problems to solutions. This is where true freedom begins. Not when life becomes easy, but when you stop allowing circumstances to decide your direction. The Stoics believe that every day presents a choice. You can react to life, or you can lead it. You can be controlled by fear, doubt, and distraction, or you can be guided by purpose, discipline, and reason. The choice is made in small moments, in the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Every time you choose action over hesitation, responsibility over excuses, and discipline over comfort, you strengthen your character. Eventually, you become the kind of person who no longer depends on circumstances to feel strong, because that strength comes from within. And once you reach that point, you discover a powerful truth. The greatest victory is not conquering the world around you. It is mastering the mind within you.